folks. This is me, Vishwasna. I'm the host of this webinar. A lot of times, I have looked back at containers and I've told myself, is there any other practices that I can try and getting not just automated? Can I get it on my CLI and look back at what is happening in that container that I've built? And over a course of time, the security practices in containers are not being thought well, or else somewhere down the line we miss out on the things that we need to just emphasize upon when we think container security. And this session focuses on what should be your absolute emphasis in your SDLC in order to get that container and full-fledged security as well as a full-fledged governance that you want to look back at. And today I'm with Tarun Marwa. Tarun Marwa will be talking about what is it all about when you think about the industry, just looking back at this same old containers that they build and rigging up the security practices. And thank you so much, Tarun sir, for being on the show. Means a lot.
Thanks, Vishwas, and thank you for bringing me here, and thanks, Devtron, for hosting me today evening. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. Yes, I would like to start by sharing my screen, and so let me know once you guys are able to see the screen.
Are
Is
you
it?
able to
I hope it's visible, right?
yeah, it's visible.
So let
Sure, you
me
can.
slideshow and then it should be fine, I think. Yeah, so basically, the topic for today is container security best practices. So we will go through what are the some of the best practices for the containers, and the I might not have written so much on the slides, but I wish to convey what are all the things. It's I want to make it as you know more on the talk like as well as on the demo. The slides may not be matching of what I'm saying because slides you can get from anywhere, but the experience which I want to share from my perspective is I think might be useful for you as well. So this is the topic for me, and I'm the lead DevOps at ABB, holding around quarter to 12 years of experience, and following other my GitHub profiles, and I do a lot of community speaking, and as well as I'm there in Twitter as well. These are the agenda, which is which was which we I thought to present it. So first we will start covering from the refactoring from monolithic to microservices, how this evolved, and then what is microservices. We will see the introduction when I will go towards the refactoring part, and then we'll go to the official introduction of microservices in the second part. I thought of doing this because it's very useful to understand what is this paradigm shift, how it happened, how we evolved into the microservices. This things which I need to tell a little bit. So based on my experience as well. The third part is the basics of the containers, how we arrived within this, the basically why we arrived to the containers. We were at the VM level. We started with the blade servers, rack servers, and then we typical on-premise data centers. Then we moved towards the cloud ones, and then there is a hybrid one. And then what was the need of the containers? Where then came the containers, which was altogether a game changer for moving our things to the microservices architecture. So then we will go through the microservice-based architecture using containers. Of course, see containers as I walk you through. Will it's a kind of package. It's a kind of package like which is hosting your OS, binaries, dependencies, all the things, and which is hosting your application as well as the database. And so we'll see through some simple diagrams which you might have seen in somewhere in the internet as well. But yes, that will be give you a revise of what are the basics on the containers side. Then we'll go through the key differences between the policy and governance. what could be the basic differences between the policy and governance. Again, this one specifically I can explain from my experience as well. What is the difference actually? And then we will go through the security best practices, where I will be showing some of the tools which can be used in the DevOps pipeline or the command line, like in your the DevOps tool set for the so security. So when they take on this topic, right, container security. So I would also try to cover some of the experts of the DevSecOps as well, because container security is comes under the umbrella of DevSecOps. Anything under the security with suffix as security comes under the umbrella of DevSecOps. So the tools which I'm going to discuss today is the Anchor Crypt, and the second one is the Trivi. So these are the couple of tools which I'm planning to discuss as well, like how we can use these tools. And I'm not covering the pipeline part of it, but yes, I'm trying to cover the command line part of it, and how it differs, and how it what is the difference between all these tools, the two tools demonstration which I'm going to show. So this is pretty much about the agenda, and then we will go to the question answers if any. And let me start with like how this architecture evolved, refactoring from monolithic to microservices. So this is one of the best example which I could get again from the internet. So see, refactoring means, see, you have to how this shift happened, microservices happened. So consider see, I would give a very common example which is readily available over the net, right? So consider order and delivery management application, right? Which is a monolithic typical, and it has basically hosted on the application layer, three-tier application, web application, application layer, layer, and the this thing, the database layer. So it's typical the monolithic architecture, which is like depending on the, it's all in one particular package, and it is deployed over multiple servers, and we have SQL separate servers apart from the application web server. There are three different servers, and and they are all, located in one region, but three different servers. So basically, you see it's the cost of maintenance, the CPU utilization, and the costing of having the three kind of servers, and hosting the application separately. So in this way, your infrastructure may be overutilized or underutilized. It's mostly in this case it's underutilized. It's not because we have seen that our infrastructure, like, right, sometimes it's not even occupying 10% of the RAM which we are procuring for the production workloads. So this was the need for us to shift from the to have an infrastructure which could support on-demand scaling. So on-demand scaling is possible only into the when we break our your application into the two small modules. One application to small modules. So we have a application called order and delivery management. So now when this is split up into two parts, which is order and management and delivery management, two separate entities, so two different modules. So this is how the microservice evolved, splitting your hard coded application, which is a typical developed out of a waterfall model, and splitting that into a two different parts, so that we can have a different order management and we can have a different delivery management. And then load balance using an API gateway. So the order management client will go through the previously this used to be all the order management, you order something through some e-commerce site like Flipkart or Amazon. So even the order and the delivery management used to happen, like delivery management, the tracking, the invoices, all these things were maintained in the order management, and the delivery and to the customers, that also was going through one particular infrastructure. So now this has been split into two sub modules. So one is taking care of the order and one is the delivery. So API gateway is you to manage the work to split the workload, the traffic between the order management client and as well as the delivery management client. So this is, and again, this will be there will be, and again, integration between the both of these, using some kind of mechanism where so that because there are some invoices or generated for the customers that are these needs to be talked to, it cannot be separate. So this glue which you are seeing here is, consider this as the actually the container, which are, we typically deploy these containers on top of the Kubernetes, on orchestration platform like like Kubernetes, or the basically the Azure container instances. So we to run the workloads and orchestration engine. So these containers, this typical, consider this whole scenario as a as a two node cluster, right? And one node we have, just to give an example, in one node we have, so node is a bigger concept of Kubernetes, and then we have the a node, we have the clusters, the together of the two nodes is a cluster, and then node inside we have a pod, and in pod we have, inside the pod we have containers, so they communicate with each other. So consider this as a there could be a dependency, right? Like order management is dependent on the delivery, and delivery is dependent on the orders. So there has to be some kind of communication mechanism that is usually, in the containerized world, we usually call a intercommunication between the two, how the two containers will communicate with each other. So containers, this is how there's a communication mechanism which needs to be established between the order and the delivery management, and then they are having their own separate databases. So in one container we will have both the application as well as the database, application as well as the database. So these are the basically the two containers which are, we have split, where refactor means we have applied the all the basically the algorithms, and how we will, who can split our entire typical monolithic architecture into the different sub modules, so that each modules can communicate with each other, and we can work in an agile way. It was in a waterfall fall, and now the shift which has happened to in a agile, so that every small changes, deployment can be done module by module wise. Like every we can push a small change in the module, and that can be combined with the other modules from the other developers, and then they can push, they can test the small changes and then move it to the productions. Yeah. So the in this way, if we are doing the this thing, it's very easy, rather than this was, which was typically the waterfall, where we have to the again I'm not going to cover the exact DevOps cycle, but yeah, planning code, and then doing the development, and then doing the build, and then the test release, and then, so this is so testers had to wait a long to build, and then similarly for build to be deployed by the operations to the production, they have to wait a lot for the testers to complete. So this is what, for a bulky application, this how it's used to happen. So this shift started happening a few years back. I think it's been since 2000. The modernization of the this concept of modernizing, this concept is also called the modernization of the infrastructure, which we often hear, and this shift has started very recently. Some organizations are still doing that, but yes, I would say it's been 4 to 5 years down the line. They have actually, we have evolved the trying to understand and now implement as well, to convert the architecture from monolithic to microservices. And in some cases, if this is not possible, they will we will organizations will do the hybrid cloud infrastructure, where they will have some components they will use for the on-premise, as some with the cloud as well, so that the dependencies could still be working on the on-premise. So still, this paradigm shift is, I think, it will take some time, more time for the industries. We have, like, for the healthcare has already evolved towards this microservices, but yes, there is a lot of things to be done here for the other industries as well. So this is like how this whole journey started to do microservices. And then This is how I was just explaining how it was being done, splitting the code and converting the delivery management to two separate modules, which is called the order and the delivery management, splitting the database as well, which you saw, and defining a separate schema for delivery, and then the defining a standalone delivery service and a standalone delivery service, then using that one. So, and then removing the old and new unused delivery management functionality from the FTGO monolithic. So, this one. This particular data is removed. Now we have basically now we don't have that bulky database. We have if you say this one, so removing the old and then now unused delivery management functions from the FTG monolithic. So this was completely unused. So this was it was all database, all transaction were hitting in one database. So we have split it into the two parts. So this is how the removing the old and the newly implementing, so that we get a better clarity which database instance we have here. The two instances, the same bulky instance has been split into the two instances, so that one instance receive the transaction from the order management, and then on the other on the delivery management part. So this is how the refactoring the we have evolved from the refactoring itself means the application of different kind of tools, data techniques and planning, and then security as well, to to shift towards a code which is more agile, and which can be worked upon more easily. And it takes we have those terms called lead time to market, less lead time to market. So this is what needed to, this paradigm shift needs to happen. So this again, this one of the slides, like where we started, like new features. Now which is this is how we are the below side shows the typical monolithic thing. So monolithic things over time, like you try to you started from here, and this is considered, this is microservices. So monolithic, you can see this application is a bulky one. So now when we go towards the other features, which is the microservices, you can as I was explaining, you can add small modules, and you can develop like a service like this, and you can easily migrate from the infrastructure as well. Consider the last one as the PaaS part, and the second one as the IS part. Like we are still evolving, and we are reducing the dependency on the infrastructure. So, and these services are the modules next to be deployed in the release cycle. So monolithic, when you longer waiting period for the build, for the developers, for the testers, and for the operations, for to release the build in the production. So the monolithic part is towards the below side. You could see that this particular application, which was huge bulky, now it has been shrinking over time as we are evolving towards the microservices part. So this bulky application is being converted into a very small one as we split the application into the different small modules. So this is the paradigm shift which has happened, the over the time. This is the time, the x-axis is the time one. So over that all, the micro monolithic application has become into a small one by converting these into the small components, right? So this is the paradigm shift which has happened. And then comes the microservices. Basically it's a architecture that structure an application as a collection, and these are loosely coupled, and right, not mostly dependent, and then organized around the business capabilities owned by a small team. uh, but this kind of architecture evolves enables rapid, frequent, and reliable delivery of complex applications as well. So now take quickly move to the basics of the containers before I jump onto the demonstration as well. So containers are a form of operating system virtualization, and then we can a single container might be used to run anything from a small microservices software process for a large application. So inside a container, as I explained earlier, there is executables, binary code, and libraries as well. So I think this particular thing will show us the basic comparison to of typical between the containers and the virtual machines. So we used to have containerized application where this is the containers one, and the right side is the virtual machine. I think it should have been reversed, but yes, let's let me compare it. So infrastructure hosting and Docker, and then we have the different application hosted on top of one Docker container. So Docker is again a tool to run the containers. We will see through the demo. And also, fortunately, I also have the Docker desktop installed on my machine to show the images which I will be pushing. And then I will show the real time how even the Docker desktop can detect the vulnerabilities. But again, Docker desktop is not for used for the production workloads, so that's why I'm trying to cover some of the tools which you can use with your DevOps pipeline in the consider that using in your production builds. So so this is how in the top of Docker we have multiple application, and my application can consist of the order management app, delivery management app, everything. And for order management also web plus database, delivery management also web plus database, and for other transaction also web plus database. So typically it is hosted on one Docker and host operating system infrastructure. Now for this virtual machines, what used to happen in the monolithic, because I have started my journey as an operational infrastructure guy. So this how it is used to happen. Infrastructure and hypervisor, we used to have a VM and different VM for the different purposes. We have one VM for the web application, other for the SQL, and the SQL used to communicate with the VM, communicate with the SQL virtual machine used to communicate with the web virtual machine through some connectivity with the firewalls and all those things which we both whitelisting which we need to perform. So typically this is called the IS architecture, and the containerized one is called the PaaS architecture. So costing wise also this was a huge part of virtual machines, and by while as containers were it was it's not a costly affair, but it is a costly affair virtual machine, because your web application today even not even occupy 10% of the CPU. So but this is production workloads which is the scalability mechanism available in scalable containers are always scalable, because this is a microservices. So you can always downgrade the number of clusters, then it will not impact on the cost. But here you can't. What has happened, you to if you want to do a vertical scaling also, in containers both wood scaling is possible, vertical as well as horizontal. But in case of this virtual machine typical architecture, right side only, the vertical scaling, we can go for vertical scaling like increasing ram or the disk, but we can't increase the number of VMs when we talk about like if we deploy VM, because it's not in a skill set. But here it's in a skill set containers. You can increase the number of clusters, and you can have more flexibility in terms of scalability as well. And security of wise also, I think you have to apply patches, all these things you have to take care. But containerize, it will be automatically applied. And for the Linux containers, because see, containers concept has evolved from the Linux basically, the kernel OS, and which is for the Red Hat. The first it was introduced in the containers during the Red Hat. The Linux only have introduced the concept of the containers. So it was typically the still, if you see the current production workloads which are running for the company who are running the microservices, most containers are in a Linux platform. So this is we don't need to bother about the patches and all. This overhead is completely withdrawn in the typical architecture for the containers. Any questions, Vishwas? Till now we have. Then I would go for the tools.
I
And
don't think
yeah,
so. We have any questions now. You can just continue because you are going from basics to the advanced. So I think
yeah,
people are
I think,
liking it.
yeah.
Yep, we can start with it.
Okay, yeah, because this was needed. I couldn't start directly from the showing them the tool, because yeah, we have to take care of the audience as well, to who are new to this one. I want everyone who is running this one
Sure,
to
sure.
start their journey from somewhere, and to start their journey, they need to know about all these concepts as well. So yeah, now I think these are a couple of tools which I'm going to cover: Treevee and extensions for the Treevee, which again, this is the extension for the Treevee Aqua Security, which you will see in the, well, you implement the CI/CD for the DevOps, and then there is another one which is Anchor Grip, which I will be using to scan the tools, right? So first of all, for see, this is like couple of references which I have been taking. You can ingest the security. as well as when we talk about the aqua this which is called the Trevi, which is this one. Well, let me show you. I hope it's visible. Yeah. So this is the Trevi ecosystem. Trevi is like is all is like you can use this tool. It's a very good tool to implement in the workflow. It goes well with the security scanning. It can even support when you go to CI/CD, it can support the GitHub Actions, and then you have in the GitHub Actions and Azure DevOps. Semaphore is also CI/CD. Circle CI is used, so it's integrated very well with the GitHub Actions and the GitHub Actions and the Circle CI, as well as the Azure DevOps. And mostly for this demo, let me cover few things first. The technical part of it. I will be using tools like Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code. I will be using the tools such as uh, the the various extensions which I will install, and Docker Desktop, which is I'm having here. So just to show you, but and the command line tools which where you can use, and also I will give the references how you can ingest in the DevOps pipeline as well. So this is one of the ecosystems which you can use. And I will be using. I have installed this Docker Desktop, this particular Trivi through the basically the source code. Source code is also readily available, and it's there in the. So this is the official website for the Trivi Aqua Security. Trivi is often Aqua Security is the company which have developed this tool called Trivi, and this is used for. This is yeah the because I have not prepared slide for this, because I wanted to show here itself, so that you can get a good documentation from the site itself. So of course I can give the links as well as share the slides with Vishwas as well later. So Trivi, as you see, the main advantage is this is a very good tool which I have just explored of recent. So Trivi can scan container images, file system, as well as the good part is it scan the GitHub repository as well, and then the virtual machine images. Just yesterday I was doing some demo on the Packer, and I think that's the best use case. I can use Trivi to scan the image which I have procured through the DevOps pipeline. I can ingest the probably a use case which I can probably think of. I can show one of the pipeline which I have developed for the developing the virtual machine. Now the other part is like to ingest, where I will try to ingest that one, the Trivi, to scan the virtual machine image, whether it is there is no vulnerability in that. And then Kubernetes, and then AWS as well. So I'm not sure about AWS, but yes, for what reason? Because even Azure is being supported here. But I think these are some of the best use cases which has been provided. And if you see what is covered apart, what Trivi can list, scanner Trivi scanner can list. It can list the OS packages and the software dependencies, the CVEs, the known vulnerabilities, the infrastructure as code issue or the misconfiguration which we have done within the pipeline, sensitive information and secret which we have exposed, might have exposed accidentally, maybe in our repository, and that's why we have a scanning of Git repository here. So this is very important, and then it also take care of the obsolete software licenses. So these are the some of the things which Trivi can do as a scanner. And now to typically and this for this particular demo, I have used. Let me go to my Visual Studio to better show the visualization. So this again, let me open a folder which is having a different image version of with this. So let me go to eDrive and then show. Yeah, so this would be the Trivi, and yeah, let me select this one, select folder. So this is the official Trivi Docker file, which canary one, which there's a Docker file, alpine image which we will be using for the and the Docker file. These are the two ones, which canary one, and as well as the Docker file, which is this have downloaded from the same site, which is this one, right? which is I have downloaded that one. So this we are trying to and you can see some YAML pipe this thing as well, which you can integrate with your DevOps pipeline as well. So before to that, this is the Visual Studio Code tool, and there are a couple of tools which you need to install here as extensions when you go towards the automating the infrastructure, ingesting the security. First, I think you can do a edit and go towards the, I think, extensions is what you have to go to. So go towards the implementing view and extensions. Yeah. So here these are two couple of installed ones. So I think let me search. I think I installed this one. So I think this was first is the Trivi, which I have installed. This is the Trivi vulnerability scanner, which I will be showing now. This needs to be installed, guys. This is how the typical scanning of application will look like, and this is how this is like. Yeah, so this is what it explains. So go through this one, and the latest version is 0.36, I think. 0. It started from Trivi version started from 0.9.1, and now it is 0.36, I think. So release notes are given, so you can go through this extension, and this is one of the extensions which is needed to have run. So apart from that, yeah, so this is one, and let me go to the yeah. So this is one of the extensions which I just wanted to show, and we will try to scan the canary part of canary flavor of this Docker file, which is we'll just try to pull that one and try to see how we can get the basically the scan report, how we will get same report we will get in the DevOps pipeline as well. When we do, like, it will categorize the information according to the severity levels, the what vulnerability, and I am doing the scanning of the Docker files containers only, because this topic is restricted to containers. But yes, this is very good use case. We can also scan our Getter repository as well as the Kubernetes environment as well, clusters as well. So this is okay. Now moving on to the I think the so this one. So now coming to again this one, so which is let me show this one. So what is this actually? This window is what you call is basically the Windows subsystem for Linux, right? This is called Windows subsystem for Linux, and this is how we try to do it. And Ubuntu, let me, this is like a Windows subsystem for Linux, which I have been trying to load it. So sudo su, and then so yeah, so this is I'm trying to open second instance. This is WSL Windows subsystem for Linux. So for some of the friends who don't know about this, this is like this is my Windows machine, right? So I can run any damn Linux. If I don't want to provision any particular thing on the cloud, there is a simplest way to do. Install WSL on your Windows machine, and it will you can get different flavors all of the Linux. So you can learn more about it, which is given here as well. Installing Linux or Windows with WSL. So this you just learn about it. This is typically give you the environment. You don't have to be I started from running a typical Oracle virtual VM box on top of my machine. So now this things have evolved, and this has been changed to WSL. Like you can execute Linux commands on top of this, and you don't need to install any VM, procure anything on the cloud. It will save the time and the cost as well. So we'll just go through some of the examples which I have done. So in another example, I will just because I have already installed it. So the binaries will see the installations as well for the Aqua, and this is the source code which I have tried actually. So this is a source code. This is so Ubuntu machine, right? So Ubuntu machine runs with the apt get install, which is the Ubuntu Debian packages, right? So this is a typical commands which I have executed, and then To check the version, we can also check if it has been installed. Preview version, we can check whether it's been installed. So C 0.36 has been installed, and it gives the updated information as well. We do have a vulnerability DB inside the tier tree. Go through the GitHub URLs and links which I will be sharing, right, as part of the takeaway for this session, and the slides you can go through it. So now typically once we have the installation, right, what we can do is, what I have tried to do is, I have tried to pull TV application, Aqua TV. This is listed here, and it has been, I have just pushed into this application as well. Now this is my Docker desktop. Since this is like I'm trying to compare, show for the typical environment how it looks like. So in the TV, right, this you can see I have my own, this pulled up from the aquasec tree, this thing Docker pull. So this is one of the, I think we have updated to a couple of images of this. So this is one of the images, and even if you see here, this is also listed here, the vulnerabilities, but it will show more detailed vulnerabilities and how we can fix them. Typically more and less same, and we have 374 packages, and then how different packages vulnerabilities are being reported. Even the Docker desktop does the same, but same one we can't use in the production, right, because Docker desktop also is now, it's been paid now. It's not for single user basis. For purpose of showing this demo, I have just shown this, how I have deployed this, and this is the typical steps which have been taken to for the typical the image which I was trying to pull is this one. So now when actually we have done that, and then we can actually pull it and see to like how it been, how it scans, and the documents which I have just tried to this is how I have tried to pull it. And now this is the repository which I have followed to scan the basically the image, the tree, the source code which is available in the aquascape tree blob, and this is the canary, the code, the source code of the docker file.canary, which I was showing in the Docker folder canary here as well. Same thing which I've cloned it, and this is how now we will try to see how it scans. So basically, what you have to do is, in the Windows subsystem of Linux, you have to basically type the tree and the image, which is the alpine image which we have taken. Now tree will not only scan the Python image, but it will also scan the alpine version of the Python. And I think it best works. Tree best works with the alpine image of the containers. So its typically use cases are for the alpine image itself. So but yes, it has more to offer than any other tool. So so we'll typically will scan. I do have this image pulled up. So let me try to show how this report will look like. So I think say unable to initialize the Docker. Okay, no such. Probably again I will try to pull up the Docker image from the this thing. So okay, so let me try to give this one instead. Yeah, so just hold on. So yeah, I'm just trying to pull up the Docker pull command. Docker pull will pull up the same image which is called from the same location, which is so. If not, then also like I have to just try to capture the screenshot in case the demo doesn't looks if something happens with this thing. So we'll just try to pull up this image again, and then and we'll see. Okay, I think a response from the. Okay, let me. Yeah, we can go to the source code repository and see how we can. I think this is the one of the command which. Uh, Let me try to pull this up again and see. Okay, so I think no proxy configured for the. I'm not sure. I'm not behind any proxy, but still it says image is up to date. Okay, it is okay. So it's saying image is up to date. Pulling from digest, image is up to date. Now, since I have pulled it, now which we can run now is like what we can do right now is Trivi and the image name. Trivi and image name which is called the just hold on, this is the image name is python underscore or if it's help line. Yeah, I think yeah, I had to need to pull it once to start downloading the dependencies, but somehow it says a fatal error like image scan error, unable to initialize the scanner, unable to initialize the Docker scanner, unable to inspect the image, no image. Okay, so it says it has not found container socket not found at the. So typically, if this not possible, then we'll show one of the things which I've just captured here. So this particular thing, like once this pull up happens, right? So we can once this image scan is completed by the command which is trivi image python 3.4 helpline. Now this will display this kind of information which is it will display the basically yeah. So let me try to focus on this content. So this will display this kind of information like helpline. It will scan the cves, it will like the display the high critical and the medium ones, and then upon based on that you can take some action how this helpline image will look like. And then this again this will list some of the CVs with the medium, low, or high. These are libraries which has been scanned, and total it will display the number as well in the total. If you say for the Alpine, the total 37 it has scanned, out of which four are low risk, section are medium, and 13 are high, and four are critical, which we need to fix it as soon as possible. Same report will publish in the DevOps piece as well. So like this is how it will display the anchor grip, this particular this tool which is called the Tree one. And for the Tree, yeah. So and this is for the Alpine, and for this Python, this is the CV which is the total. It has scanned four packages, four libraries, and out of that, three are on the high and one on the medium. So this is like I've just tried to capture some of the snippets of how this scanning will look like. And this is like just a container scanning for the images for the this called the tool which is called Trivi. So this is how the results will look like. I've just saved the screenshot because in the end it's after the demo, all the things which should go fine. But yes, which I can check as well. Let me try to run this one and see if I can show. Otherwise, we will move to the other tool, which is also which is also one of the important tool where which you can learn to but that will not scan the repository and all those things. Each tool has its own pros and cons. So anchor grip is usually for the for basically just listing the vulnerabilities for the containers. It might not be used to scan the all use cases like the GitHub repository or the clusters or the file system. So each have their own functionalities. So uh, okay, I think I need to fix this one. So if says that image scan error, unable to initialize the scanner, unable to install Docker scanner, so unable to inspect the images when no such image. So I have pulled that image, but okay, Docker pull. Okay, let me try to pull this up again and see if GitHub contain registry. Okay, same was the GitHub registry as well. So let me try to pull this one at least and see if I can do that. But then if this is happening correct, then that's fine. I think we can let me go to the other one. So that's for that safe reason. I have just copied this. The output of how it will list the things in the typical environment. The other tool which I wanted to cover is the basically is the anchor grip. So anchor grip is again a vulnerability scanner for the container images and the systems. And this I have just tried to cloned it in my local system. Original one you can find out here in the repository. So this is the another tool which is used for the scanning. And for Visual Studio extension, this is the tool which is available. The extensions which is available now is the this is the tool which is available, GRYPE or grip, anchor grip, or so you can GRYPE. I think either you can. I think I have not installed here, but these things can be used. Like grip scans your project for manifest vulnerabilities. Again, you can install it, but here this one I have not been using the. This is the one of the extensions you just go through. The other tools which can use to scan your manifest files and the libraries manifest as in the Kubernetes. And these are the CV numbers which will list. And all the installation procedures and all those things are also covered here. Or you can start with the grip VS code. And for our this thing, my environment, I have just installed it. And uh, so this is like sorry, grip. Just hold on. So let me clear this thing. So GRYPE and version, which should be the latest one. Okay. Grip. So this is the latest version which I've just pulled up today, which is 0.55. So now this has been, I have taken the source code from one of the modern DevOps practices. Again, this is readily open, so available over the internet as well. So this is or you can take my GitHub repository for the modern DevOps practices, and chapter 12 is what, and then this script. This is the some of the the tools which let me open the folder and show where I have just taken this thing. So this one, yeah, this one is what you need to select. And so yeah, so this is typical three type of images which we will take, and we'll try to see the difference and how with the introduction of three different use cases, like how it scans and gives the reports. So we'll just go through again. It's a alpine image which I have taken. You can take the another image as well for just testing and getting your hands dirty for implementing to the production workloads. So just try to pull up these images and with the commands which just So this we have already have the commands with us, and we already I have posted one of the image which is called the anchor grip, the flap flask app secret, which is I think flap app secret is yeah. So flag app alpine latest and slim is what we need to do it now. So this is like, if you see, we have already tried to do this for the couple of images. So let me see how I can do that. So app secret is what I have pushed. Now I think I can try to quickly scan this one using the tools which is called so to scan the your image. This is how you have to grep and the basically the image name. Again, if it's not there, again I have to pull up and see. I have kind of not tested this one, so I have not captured the screens. But I think, yeah, it should be fine. And see this, because I've already pulled up, and this will now vulnerability DB. Even it was there in the other tool trivia as well. Vulnerability DB is there in all the tools. This is what I believe. It's there in the all the tools. So it's how it's been listed here. So these are all libraries which is scan this particular image will be called flash app secret, right? If you do ls7l, so this particular thing is already covered here. So flask app and different flavors which I'm just trying to put up. So it's the again the alpine image version of which is 3.7, and yeah, and this is just listed out some of the high cv versions, different versions, and different type of packages, apk or python set up by the different tools. Now again, if I try to build up one more image which is called the latest one, we'll see how the things get changed. And um, these here different type of images uh, which I just hold on. So this is how this will differ for the different. Okay, app installed the deb name. Okay, so Flask app. So we have to, okay, Docker build. Okay, secret, and this is, so it is just try to just try to pull this up and see. Just try to uh, Flask app secret and Flask app secret, and yeah, it has just been pulled up. So latest one, the tag is this one. This is the one which is we have put, and these are the vulnerabilities being reported, and the high, medium, and the low. This is the and you can see how these are 18 packages are there. So the tag version is the latest one, which is I've just tried to put. Now I will just try to kind of scan this one and see how it is look like. And so you see the again the number of there are five vulnerabilities here, 63 packages, and here also it's the same. So the process this is how the different the different versions of this how it will look like. And then there is a if you see the third version of the system which is called the alpine slim latest, and the alpine app alpine this thing. So we can again build one of the so this is how you can scan the different the task and the secret. And this is latest after latest and the secret when we have the helpline part of it, helpline. So these are some of the tools which so I have just tried to push it and we'll try to refresh it. So Alpine Git, you can see the latest one, right? And this is the Alpine one, the latest one, which I have just tried to this thing. I have just tried to build this one. So this is the latest one, and again there are two vulnerabilities and a different. This will display all the vulnerabilities which are reported, and you can manage at the runtime as well all these variables. So even like for the Docker desktop, it's listing the so this kind of vulnerability CV numbers will be there, like this says X4509 certificates contain a malformed policy. So it is also displaying the same, but to display to the tools which the developers can use is through the Alpine version. Like we can use the uh, it's again scanning this one, and we'll see. Yeah, so I could see there's no difference in the number of vulnerabilities reported, probably because maybe I've updated the version of the grep as well as my image. Previously, when I was doing this one, the vulnerabilities were more because what I have done is so the best practices include you should always keep updated the base OS images, and you should try to limit the non-root access. You should give the Docker image very less people the root. That your Docker image should not run with the privileged root account. So that's the also the one of the important thing here to be noted. So if you see here, we for most of the images, let me show. There is a user which we there when we see the structure of Docker. There are chances where you can give root access by default for a user to run a Docker file, which should not be the case. You should not be doing that, and I think the port number also it should be a protected one, and it shouldn't have a it should not be a common port like 5000 or something. It should be a custom port which where your containers can communicate. So and that's the other part of the best practices as far as that is concerned. So yeah, so this is the application as well as this is the Docker file, and this is how we have I have just tried to show that one the through two of the tools which have been stored. And yeah, for the Aquatrivy, I think this is it didn't happen go well, but yes, this is how it was showing the vulnerabilities as well. So if you see here, it will show the OpenSSL this different CV. Most of the certificate is pointing out, but this one, see this one Trivi. Now Trivi scans the GitHub this thing as well, right? So it's displaying the GitHub this thing as well. What is along with the containers, it is also displaying the GitHub part. What is the issue with your source code as well? So there's other vulnerabilities which have been reported. AWS S3, so different versions of apart from the Helm again is the Kubernetes one. It is also displaying the Kubernetes vulnerabilities as well, right? Helm, the deployment through is a Helm is a deployment tool to deploy your container images to the Kubernetes. So this is also displaying. If you see this, these things were all not available in the other tool, which is called the grip anchor grip. So if you see here, this aquasec Trivi is having. It's not only displaying the information on the Helm charts, GitHub, the repository, container registry, containers. It's giving basically all the information. So I think this is one of the tool, and even I think we are also using that one in our dev and test workloads. Yeah, so that's how yeah, that's how it's looks. So yeah, so you can see different like this kind of things. So you can see different tools offer different kind of functionalities, and we can use on a different. But one common thing while using these tools is like both are used for the alpine flavors of the basically the images, the Python alpine images, they're applicable to. So but Trevi has more than features to offer than the anchor grip tool similarly. So uh, so I think any questions apart from that, or you need any help on the getting started, which was anything which
I think that's it. That's it from my side. I think
okay.
you had a demo. I think everything got sorted. Then that's
Okay.
complete.
Okay. You lost your screen. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. So I think that's it, folks. Thank you so much, Tarun, for being on the webinar. And also, this is not the end of it. We are also coming up with a lot of series of sessions which are there on our LinkedIn. So just go to the LinkedIn. I'll just show you where to navigate, how to navigate, and the things like that. So you can start your work. So just go to the LinkedIn, click on Devtron, and there you go. You have it here. It says about, you know what, this is the amount of webinars that are going on, this is the amount of workshops that are happening. There are a lot of GitOps. I think Keda, Kubernetes
Keda,
event developer,
yeah, it's a very good one.
one of the most prolific speakers in the community that I ever saw is coming. Whatnot, I think Vinod is an amazing speaker. Getting started with GitOps, it's coming this month 29th. And of course, elastic in production, I think that is where we really wanted some use cases and things like that. And we wanted to learn a lot about an impact of an search engine or else and locally available search engine that is there on your system. And there you go, Elasticsearch is there, and we have an amazing integration with it as well. So try that out. And Apache Airflow, Bitdami extension, there is a lot coming up in the market, folks. You need not have to wait for it. Just grab your chances, learn as much as you can. And the Airflow event is on 13. Just go ahead, register for the event. Let's start learning. And thank you so much, Tarun, for being on the webinar. And
Thank you.
there's a lot of things coming up with respect to
Yeah.
educating community on the DevOps, getting more luminaries from the industry, talking about where the DevOps best practices is. We are coming out with a lot. So stay tuned, folks. This is Vishwas Nayan signing off from this webinar. Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Bye.